Okay, welcome back, guys. Welcome back to Jamie's Journey podcast. Thank you so much for the love and support for the last episode. I was a little, I don't know, I was a little different. I can tell you that my husband was sending me text messages while he was listening to the podcast, and he was like, "What are you doing? Who is this? What is happening?" It was a little bit out of the norm. I was just having fun. I hope you enjoyed it. It was just a crazy episode. I think with all of the information out there and all of the news and social media and content, it can get negative real fast and it can get overwhelming real fast. And so I just thought, why not make this fun and crazy and whimsical and downright ridiculous and just have fun with it. So if you listened to it and you got all the way through, God bless you. If you didn't and you had to stop because I was annoying, that's okay. We're here. We're working it. But I was thinking over the last week, like, what is my intention for this podcast? What's my intention for my YouTube video? And I don't just want to record just to record. I want there to be some form of sustenance, if you will, to everything that I put out. And at the end of the day, it just kept coming back to an escape from all the left and the right and the BS and the this and the that and the fake news and all the crap and everything out there. You know, I just want a place to, let's talk, let's share. I want it to be valuable, but I also want it to be a place that you can just mind-numbingly listen to and hear about all the craziness that I'm doing, everything that I'm venturing through, sharing it with you, sharing my failures, my successes, in case you're on the same journey, a different journey, starting your journey, whatever it may be. I love listening to people who are doing things real time. Like, let's walk through it. Like, hey guys, this didn't work. This did work. Maybe this will work for you. Or, I don't want all the fake BS. I don't want all the pop-up circumstances. I just want real people with real information. Let's talk it out. Let's have conversations. Let's have debates, like all the good things. So that is, there's not going to be a structure for my podcast. I'm not going to sit here and tell you like I have this grand master plan for what Jamie's journey is going to be like. In reality, it's my journey. At the end of the day, it's the things that I experience in a week, the things that I thought were interesting, the things that bring me joy, the failures that I've experienced and the successes that I experience. So at the end of the day, there's no telling what I'm going to pop on here and say. So just be ready. Okay, be ready. But I do want to say, with all that being said, my thoughts and prayers are everyone out in California, in Los Angeles. You hear a lot of information out there, and everyone has their confirmation biases and what they believe. What I urge you to do, regardless of where you sit, I don't want to make this political, but I think at the end of the day, at some point it is. Just be aware of where you're getting your information from. I don't watch in CNN, CNBC, Fox News. I go to the source. And so there's a lot of top podcasts that I listen to that actually have legitimate people, boots on the ground, know what they're talking about. That's where I get my information from. So if you're jamming confirmation bias down your throat, I would highly encourage you to kind of venture out and find some other avenues to get your information from. One of those avenues that I've been using is vtnews.ai. It is ran and developed by Valuetainment. PBD developed this through Valuetainment, and it tells you exactly where the information is coming from. Is it left-leaning? Is it right-leaning? Is it right down the middle? It's got a bunch of great information. And so with that, there's a lot of You can dive into vtnews.ai and get all kinds of different information. You can ask what the top, so I put in, what are the top 5 news events for today? And it gave me, instead of searching the whole entire website, it just, boom, right off the top. So number 1 for today, January 17th, 2025. You've got the U.S. Supreme Court has unanimously upheld a law mandating TikTok's Chinese president's parent company, ByteDance, to divest its U.S. operations by January 19th, 2025, or face nationwide ban. There's a lot of information going on around this. And I can tell you from someone that was in the Air Force and Space Force, can't say too much. I was on the cyber side of the house. I can tell you that there's a lot going on there that you can't really talk about out in public. And so this is the right move. Just saying. There's a lot of information that the general public doesn't know. And so you've got a lot of people flipping their lids and saying, what's the big deal? It's a big deal whenever all your information is stored and being held by another entity. So I'll just leave it at that. But that's top story today. Number 2 is President-elect Donald Trump and Chinese President had a phone conversation discussing various issues, including trade, fentanyl, and TikTok. Number 3 for today, China is racking them up on our top news stories for today. China is sending Vice President Han Jing to attend Trump's inauguration. This is marking the first time a senior Chinese leader will attend a U.S. presidential inauguration. So this should be interesting. Number 4 today for your top news stories, the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, has revised its growth forecast, predicting stronger than expected growth for the U.S. economy and upgrading its global growth forecast. That's a mouthful. Global growth forecast. And then number 5, Lithuania has announced plans to increase its defense spending to 5 to 6% of GDP from 2026 to 2030, positioning itself to become the highest defense spender among NATO countries by GDP percentage. So just share that with you. Go do your research, guys. Do your research. Go look up information for yourself. Don't just take what's on social media. We got to get our heads out of the sand, guys. You got to start educating yourselves and reading. Pick up a book, pick up a news article. Go search things out and read. Read, guys. So those are our top 5 significant news events that are going on today, January 17th, 2025. And with that, let's see. I do have a point to this podcast I do want to share. And if you're new here, I retired from the military last August of 2023. Became a mortgage broker. Love helping my veterans. Absolutely love helping them navigate the VA home loan, because there are a lot of individuals that don't know the ins and outs of the VA home loan. And there's some missed opportunities out there for my veterans, and there's some individuals that like to take advantage of the VA home loan and take advantage of veterans. So I have made it my mission to study the ins and outs completely of the VA home loan so that I can help my veterans. So if you're a veteran out there and you're looking to purchase in the state of Texas, Colorado, or Florida, or if you just have questions, hit me up. Send me a message on Instagram at Jamie Kineholes, or you can send me an email, kineholesjamie@gmail.com, and I will be happy to assist you. And speaking of mortgages and VA home loans, I'm going to just touch a little bit on interest rates for today. They change every day, guys. And I'm also going to do a podcast or a video on what goes into the interest rates. A lot of people think that it's the same across the board for everyone, and it's not. There's a lot that goes into what your interest rate will be depending on what your situation is going to be. And as of today, we have some Fed comments, and Cleveland Fed President Beth Hammack spoke, and she believes that we still have an inflation problem. and she is the Cleveland Fed president, and they release inflation estimates every month. And lately they have been way overestimating inflation, and their forecasts have been well above the general market consensus. And it's incorrectly so. And as a result, she may be getting some of those insights that are skewing her view. So she's probably getting not the best information. And with that, she's saying that inflation is still a problem, which what does that mean? It means she doesn't want to cut rates. She is in favor of not cutting rates. But then you have, on the other hand, you have Fed Governor Waller, who spoke on CNBC yesterday and sounded very dovish. He said that inflation is getting close to their 2% target. And if we continue to get readings like we have recently been seeing, he thinks rate cuts could happen in the first half of the year. He even said that you cannot rule out the March meeting for a cut. Right now, the market is not pricing in a cut until July. So right now, we're seeing still in the sixes, sixes, 6.5, 6.6, up to the sevens, depending on your criteria. And a lot of times, if the market thinks that there's going to be a cut in the future, we already calculate the rates in. And so right now, they're holding at 6.5, 6.6 and above, because the market doesn't see a cut happening until July. So right now we're just staying stagnant at those numbers. But Waller believes that inflation is going to get to the target faster than many believe, and that the labor market is not overheating or accelerating, and that things are still restrictive. He also added that he believes we could see 3 to 4 rate cuts this year after all, even though the December 18 dot plot chart only forecasted 2. And so right now things are still up in the air. In my humble opinion, I'm thinking everything's just staying kind of steady and where it's at until President Trump gets in office. When he's inaugurated on the 20th and he's in there and ready to rock and roll on the 21st, that's when I predict and I see that you might see some changes. And changes probably sooner than what we're thinking. That's just my opinion, but I think everyone's just kind of chilling at the moment. And so again, if you're thinking that rates are going to drop drastically down to like the 4s and you're waiting, I wouldn't wait. Guys, home prices fluctuate every year, and I would much rather build time in the market, aka building equity in my home, than to wait for an interest rate to go down a couple basis points or whatever the case may be. So if you're looking to purchase, I wouldn't fret on the interest rate. We can refinance that bad boy later. But those are my 2 cents when it comes to today's market on the interest rate and the top 5 news articles of today. But I kind of want to, let's just say it. I'm going to piggyback off of my episode from last week. And last week I shared with you my goals for 2025. And also shared, did you quit last Friday? Did we quit? Are you back on? Did you realize you quit and then you decided to start back over because you got called out? Where are we at, guys? And I can honestly say I'm still going strong. I feel proud of myself. I'm still doing what I said I was going to do. It feels really, really good to kind of get that momentum and to know that you're staying true to what you promised yourself. And so I came across this cool piece of advice reading a book the other day, and I wanted to share it because I feel that this could help someone in their journey to stay consistent. And I'm sharing it because that has been an area that I have struggled in. It has been an area that I have tried my best to kind of find the right system to do. And I think the reason why I struggle is because I become bored very easily. I am a results-driven individual, and if I don't see what's happening right away, if I don't see things, responding in the way that I think they should respond, then I'm like, on to the next one. And that is a curse and a blessing, because for me, I like to do things like, let's go. Like, if there's a problem, let's figure it out. Let's fix it. Let's roll. Let's move. But I struggle with the long term. Like, I love knocking stuff off my list and like knocking things out short term, but a weakness of mine is sticking to something long term, and I want to get better at that. So at least I know my weakness, and I've acknowledged my weakness. And so this is me going out and searching for ways to improve that and to turn that weakness into a strength, or at least something that's productive. And so I came across this concept called the law of 100. Now, this is not the first time I've heard this, but for me, reading it hit me different than hearing Alex Hormozi talk about the law of 100. I love Alex, genius of a man. Sometimes when I'm listening to him, I have to like slow it down and take it back, because he talks so big and so fast that sometimes for me, like, to comprehend it, I really have to dumb it down. So for me, this is like, maybe if I had, maybe the 10th time I've heard this concept, but this time it hit different. And so I was able to internalize it a little bit different, and now I'm implementing it a little bit different. And so, like I said, it's the law of 100. And my question to you is, have you ever started something? It could be anything. It could be learning how to play chess. It could be starting a business. It could be, I'm going to post 3 stories a day for XYZ amount of time, or whatever it can be, whatever, right? You name it. Have you ever started it and then it didn't turn out the way you expected, only after maybe a few days, a few months, a few weeks, and then you just quit? Maybe you quit a little too early. And so think about that. Think about that one thing that you started and you quit too early. Look back on it. Have you ever wondered where you would be if you would have just stuck with it? Sit there for a second and marinate on that. Where would you be if you stuck with it? Now, if you quit and it was a good thing that you quit, cool, let's move on. But if you quit way too early and it could have been something great if you just stuck it out. Like, I've thought about a couple of things that I've quit way too early, and I'm like, dang it, I could be XYZ, or it could be this. And I'm like, why did you quit, you big turd? What happened? I hate that. And I don't want to have to do that anymore, because I have definitely quit because I didn't see instant results. And so to help me to avoid that in the future and to help me continue to progress, I'm going to use the law of 100. Now, where did the law of 100 come from? So there was a study by a photography professor at the University of Florida. And he split his class into 2 groups. He split it into the quantity group and the quality group. For the quantity group, he told them, you have to take 100 pictures and submit them by the end of the semester to get an A. For the quality group, he said you only have to submit 1 perfect picture to get an A. Who do you think won? The quantity group. The quantity group kicked the quality group's butt. And you're wondering why. Maybe you're not wondering why. But the quantity group, they got to, if you think about it, they got to experiment more. They got to take more photos. They got to learn from their mistakes. They spent more time in the dark room. They got better with each and every time they did it. And so that's the concept, and that's the law of 100. And so from now on, let's do this. Whatever you decide to do, whatever I decide to do, Do it 100 times before you even think that you're going to stop. Before you even consider quitting, you have to do it 100 times. And this will stop you from succumbing to what Seth Godin calls the dip. And the dip is that moment in a long slog between when you start and when mastery sets in, where you start hating the work and you want to quit. So it's that middle ground from you're like at the beginning, you're so excited to get started. You're like, yeah, I'm going to do this. You're going to crush it. You start, and then it starts to it starts to suck. It starts to get boring. That's my case. It starts to get boring. I don't want to do this. I find something else to do. That whole middle part is the dip. And so if you can put a system in place to kind of help you get to that hundredth time, like do a checklist, a pegboard, or something. Lean in and commit to yourself 100 reps and view it as reps and practicing as opposing to failing or succeeding. Like if you switch that mindset, like, hey, it's just a rep. It's like I'm in the gym. It's a rep. We're doing it. Boom, I'm out. And not focus on, oh my God, I'm going to fail. What are they going to think? That's my problem too. Like, what are they going to think? They're going to think I'm crazy. I don't have anything to give. I don't have any value. You name it. There's probably like a list of things that like goes on in my head. And so this helps change your mindset. Committing to that 100 and thinking that they're reps and it's practice opposed to failing. It changes your mindset and it makes it much easier to sustain and keeps that motion, that forward progress to kind of continue on. So like I said, set up a system that helps you get your 100 reps in, whatever it may be. Find something that is, get 100 little army men and sit it on your counter and knock them over as you do it. Get like a tally board, and every time you do it, mark it off, mark it off, mark it off. Whatever that is going to be for you, find what inspires you to hit that 100th time. And also, don't worry about if people are watching. That's what I want to say. Or if they're liking, or if they're engaging, or if they're buying, or if they're following. Just do it. And that, like, don't go looking at the likes and the comments and the follows and the views and the subscribers and the things and blah, 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 blah. I post and ghost. There's a couple times where I was like, oh, my YouTube channel, I got like blah, blah, blah views, you know. But I don't want to focus on it because I want to grow my YouTube channel. I want to become more creative. So like, I'm just going to post videos and everything and I'm going to upload 100 videos. And then I want to go back and look at the analytics and look at what did well, what didn't do well, where can I improve? Because I know every time that I film, every time I edit, every time I upload, design a thumbnail, whatever, each time I learn something new. And so I'm trying not to put too much pressure on myself. And so right now I'm just uploading. Out of 100, I've got 10 so far. So like, I still got time to go. Like, let's go. My goal was to vlog every single day and upload. I have not done that. The first week or so I was very consistent at it. I'm learning too as I go. And so if I was more prepared, maybe it would go a little bit smoother, but I'm learning to edit as I go in the midst of everything else that I'm going on. There's no excuses here, but I am trying to up my game a little bit more and get back on track. So I am determined to hit 100 YouTube uploads. My podcast, I've been doing this podcast for a couple of years on and off, and I have nowhere near 100 podcast episodes, which is insane to me. And so here we go. I will do 100 episodes before I make changes, decide to quit. I won't quit before 100 episodes on both platforms. And that's where I'm at right now. And so I have to really change my mindset about not worrying about what people are liking, commenting, viewing, saying, all that kind of stuff. I just need the reps. And that's what I keep telling myself. Just the reps, just the reps, just the reps. And then once you hit that 100, if it's not for you, then decide that you want to quit. Give it some time. Put some effort into it, do it, and then make your decision. Remember that it's step by step, it's brick by brick, and each time you do it, you improve. And that's what I have to keep reminding myself, because the law of 100 is consistency. That's the only way we're going to get to greatness. And I constantly am reminding myself that consistency. Those are a few of the, the core concepts that I'm focusing on this year is speed, consistency, and just effing do it. LFG. Let's go, and I don't want to just sit on the sidelines anymore. So let's go, guys. Come with me. Don't just sit around. Get up off your butt. What's the worst that's going to happen? I mean, seriously. Someone's going to click the thumbs down on your video. Okay, ooh, cool. I'm not for you. Bye, Felicia, But thank you guys for hanging with me today. The law of 100. Let me know if you're implementing it. Let me know what you're doing with it. Let's go. Once you get momentum, share what day you're on. How's it going for you? Let's do this together with whatever you decide to, do next on your 2025 journey. But thank you guys for your time. I really, really appreciate it. And if you would do me a solid, if you would like the podcast, comment, give me a rating, share with a friend if you think it's worth sharing. I appreciate each and every one of you. And until next week, because we are doing the law of 100, I will see you then. And remember, no days wasted. Peace.